Welcome to Evaluating Agentic Finance Platforms, a controller's guide to AI, a roundtable panel discussion brought to you by the Controllers Council. Next slide, Hannah. My name is Neil Brown, Executive Director of the Controllers Council, and before I introduce our expert panelists and our partner sponsor, let me share some brief housekeeping items. This webinar is CPE eligible with 4 polling questions, so please answer each poll. If not CPE, answer to benchmark your peers. We'll have a quick survey at the end of the presentation, so please complete, and please stay on the webcast for at least 15 minutes to qualify. Next, we'll have Q&A at the end of the presentation, so use your GoToWebinar control panel to ask our experts questions. And finally, you'll receive a link to this webcast via email in the next 24 hours, so no need for notes or screenshots. And with that, a word about our partner and sponsor, Paystan, the modern digital B2B payment network that seamlessly integrates with agentic accounting and finance. Paystan's mission is to be a one-stop shop for controllers and CFOs with AR, AP, payments, spend and expense management, and much more. Learn more at paystan.com. And with that, I'm very pleased to introduce our expert panelists, Philip Peck and Gregg Dion, who paneled with us in the past and been very insightful. Philip Peck is VP Finance Transformation at Peloton Consulting Group. Prior roles included VP Finance Practice at Palladium Consulting and many client-side roles, including OSE USA, Ameritech, and R.R. Donnelley, some Chicago companies I'm familiar with. And Philip earned an MBA from Northwestern University and a BS Industrial Management from Purdue University. Gregg Dion is VP Controller at LTK Commerce for creators and influencers. Before LTK, Gregg was Corporate Controller at DraftKings for more than 8 years. Prior roles included accounting and audit at Mitsubishi Financial Group. Gregg started in public accounting at Deloitte, followed by a stint at E&Y, and he earned a Master of Science in Accounting and Bachelor of Accounting from the University of Connecticut, go Huskies, and is a licensed CPA in Massachusetts. Gregg won the Controllers Council 2023 National Controller of the Year. Welcome, Philip and Gregg. All right, we're going to go on camera now. And here are our panelists, Philip and Gregg. And that first question, just tell us a little bit about your company and your background and maybe your finance and accounting organization. Philip, let's start with you.
Sure, Neil. First of all, excited and honored to be part of this webinar. It's great always to work with you, and obviously with Gregg, as you mentioned, we've worked together before. Fantastic topic. So quick soundbite about Peloton Consulting Group. We help companies drive AI-enabled digital transformation across the enterprise. We provide advisory, consulting, and managed services kind of across the full gamut of accounting, finance, and FP&A. EPM, enterprise performance management, enterprise resource management, supply chain management, human capital management, CX, customer experience analytics, and data management all around the cloud. We're global, 850 plus employees across North America, Latin America, and Asia Pacific. Our expertise really spans multiple industries with a heavy focus on retail, CPG, manufacturing, financial services, professional services, high tech, and wholesale distribution. We believe we bring an innovative and unique implementation methodology, which leverages a process-centric view to the world and a way to help organizations adopt their solutions that optimally drive success. We do bring to bear technical expertise, industry expertise, and functional expertise with a dedicated AI strategy practice where we think we help organizations unlock hidden value. And now we're really starting to leverage the power of AI and today's topic, agentic AI, to drive a better decision-making across the organization. I've spent my entire career in FP&A finance and controllership like functions, as you said earlier, and really looking forward to this discussion.
All right, thank you for that. And Gregg, tell us about your company and your background.
Sure. So I'll start with the company I work for currently is LTK, also referred to as like it to know it. We are also a global company. We're headquartered out of Dallas. We have a footprint in the UK, Germany, China, Korea, and Brazil. The organization itself is around 2,000 to 3,000 people. We have been around for almost 10 years, believe it or not. But we still, operate in a very nascent market, in a very interesting market. Our overall business model is to be the bridge between retail brands with content creators on social media. So thinking like, hey, you want to get an advertising deal with Target, we can help kind of make that happen. Been here for just over a year. The team is structured with an accounting arm that I manage and an FP&A arm that's managed by a colleague of mine. Overall, we both, under the CFO umbrella, there's roughly 30 people. I have about 1,500, and it's split evenly, like 15 and 15 across the two organizations.
Nice. All right. Well, I think we're moving on to our first panel question, Hannah. So, is your accounting and or finance department using AI? Of course, this will be a nice lead in. So let us launch that poll. And all answers are confidential, anonymous, of course. Give you a few moments. And if not for CPE, to benchmark your peers. So this is a common question in our AI topics. Are you evaluating planning? Are you using it significantly, just a little bit, not using it? So it'll be an interesting perspective that we can bring into our conversations here. Give me a few more moments, please. If I cut it off too early, I get some nasty grams. People like to take their time and answer. So, all right. So let's end and share the results. So, largest 61%, some AI being used. That's followed by 13% evaluating or planning AI options. Significant usage by 9%, not using AI at all for 9%, other not sure 9%. So these numbers, it's interesting to see how these change, but I remember just even a couple of months ago, not using AI was 19%, and now it's 9%. Philip, are any surprises here?
No, I think you highlighted the number one aspect is the adoption curve, kind of following the classic marketing S-curve of adoption. It's getting that much more pervasive fast. It's accelerating in terms of usage. Probably behind the numbers, there's even some subtlety we don't see. There could be people on your teams out there in the audience who are actually using it, but they don't necessarily talk about it. So they could be using it, independently outside of the blessed ecosystem. So the numbers are what they are, but there's probably more to the story.
Yeah, I bet. All right, well, let's roll on to our panel questions again. And Gregg, we're going to start. Let's close this out. Sorry about that. Okay, Gregg, we're going to start with you. Where is your finance accounting department at with AI adoption and usage? Any specific workflows? Go ahead, Gregg, take it away.
So I'm not surprised to see a lot of some AI being used on that last poll. I would say accounting and finance tends to be the latest adopters because we need to make sure that our controls are in a good spot, that we have the right checks and balances, that we're not kind of just letting things run all over the place without the right the right processes in place to catch things so that the books don't get screwed up, more or less. Where I would say, my department's working from an AI standpoint, it's really two pillars. The first one is close automation. So, we've been working with a handful of companies. We've been working with a handful of softwares to help us with repeatable processes. Matching is like a very interesting one. Looking at our GL account, comparing our GL account to bank account information, period over period, giving some analysis on what you think journal entries would be in certain situations. And then from an outside of finance standpoint, we use it a lot for pretty much every meeting that I have. I don't know if you've used Gemini at all, but they have this great product where it allows you to transcribe meeting notes and give action items, and it's really, really helpful from like a conversation you had like last week, and you can just ask AI, hey, what did Jeff say about this 2 weeks ago, and what do I need to address? We use it a lot from a meeting standpoint, from a cross-functional communication standpoint. It's been absolutely incredible. That's pretty much where we're at.
Excellent.
I would say we're at an advanced use of AI. I'd be honest with it.
Okay.
I think we've been it's integrated across the entire organization.
Okay. And Philip, you're on the consulting side, so you're working with a lot of different finance and accounting orgs with different levels. Maybe you can share like what a range might be from basic AI use to advanced.
Sure. And I love Gregg's response, because Gregg, you and your organization, you touch elements of the gamut, and I like to think of it as a continuum from that, the basic to advanced. And really, as I think about it, our firm thinks about it, a key distinction is how much of the work AI performs independently versus, whether humans remain in the loop. So I think about it like a simple framework. There's a maturity level, then there's characteristics around that level, and then there's some use cases or typical examples, and then degree of human involvement. So things that are, call it level 1 or more on the basic side, AI assistance. It helps us as individuals, as practitioners on our teams, do things ostensibly faster or a little bit better. Help us draft emails, summarize policies, like Gregg, you suggested, creating meeting notes, accessing meeting notes, creating action items, can do things like generate formulas, queries, and we as humans still perform and review all the work. As you move through the continuum, then I'd call it AI augmentation. AI helps analyze and makes recommendations. So maybe it's variance explanations, like you're doing this from an account rec perspective. That's definitely just a very prevalent use case that many organizations we're seeing. They're jumping on and seeing the value. Could be anomaly detection, expense categorization, a number of other ones. Here, the human involvement is approving recommendations. Keeping going through that maturity level, elements of AI automation. So AI now is executing well-defined processes with human oversight. And maybe that's invoice processing, creating the journal entries, cash application, financial close checklist, things kind of that nature. And here, the human involvement is really monitoring exceptions as opposed to the ones we talked about earlier. Getting down that continuum, Neil, agentic AI. Agents are coordinating multiple activities and making limited decisions, maybe investigating unusual transactions, preparing reconciliation packages, resolving low-risk exceptions with appropriate governance, etc. Human supervises, approves, and makes the material decisions. The way end of the continuum, which is a little bit of the promised nirvana, and we use nirvana in air quotes, autonomous finance. AI would manage the end-to-end processes within governance boundaries, continuous close, dynamic forecasting, self-optimized working capital. That's out there on the horizon. I don't think we're necessarily seeing that in practice to that full extent, but that's definitely, some of the promise there. A couple real quick additional examples, Neil, that I'd call out on that, the basic. I mentioned expense categorization. Chatbot could be another one, say for exploring accounting policies, or even, just navigating. We've seen it with some clients, just navigating their own internal ERP systems. They don't know where to go. They've created some chat bots to help the extended, call it super set of users across the globe, be able to navigate the internal systems they have. Interesting use case there. More intermediate or slightly more advanced, definitely from an FP&A perspective, predictive cash flow forecasting. Also, that goes hand in hand from a treasury perspective. We've certainly seen a very strong interest there, both from clients, but also vendors leaning heavily into some of those capabilities. The advanced agentic, moving down that nirvana path, analyzing GL detail, exploring purchase orders, doing other elements